Welcome, dear friends, both new seekers and longtime companions of this channel, Zodiac Talks Tarot. Today we gather under the fiery constellation of Aries, the trailblazer of the Zodiac, the one who rarely asks for permission to start a new chapter and often sets the entire book on fire just to make sure it's interesting. This session is titled Aries, Your Victory Will Cause Someone to Freak Out. Your destiny starts now. For those of you who carry Aries strongly in your chart, whether by Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or even Jupiter, this message carries weight. Our guide Elisa opened by expressing gratitude for the community's support, a reminder that even the fiercest warriors benefit from companionship. And make no mistake, Aries, you are stepping into the spotlight not as a wanderer, but as one of the chosen ones. The applause you hear in the distance is no accident, it is the opening drum roll for what I call the Year of Triumph 2025. At the heart of this reading emerges the oracle message, trust the unknown. For a sign that thrives on action, this is not an easy command. Aries prefers to know what mountain to climb, what door to kick open, what dragon to wrestle into submission. Yet the universe whispers a paradox: when you surrender control, you step into your truest power. Supporting this is the card urging you to see from a higher perspective. The eagle soars into view, not as a casual symbol but as a reminder of cosmic responsibility. Vision, truth, spiritual alignment, these are not small matters. To embrace the eagle is to see beyond immediate frustrations, to rise above the quarrels and insecurities of daily life, and to recognize the vast landscape of possibility that lies before you. Now, humor me here, because the image of the eagle comes with a little practical advice. If you are still obsessing over the ants crawling at your feet, the bills, the bickering, or perhaps that coworker who insists on blaming every poor decision on Mercury retrograde, then you are missing the point. Eagles do not argue with ants, they soar above them. Aries, you are being asked to elevate your vision, to recognize that your destiny cannot be contained in the petty dramas of the moment. But I know Aries well. I know the impatience that pulses through your blood, the deep hunger to act now, to conquer, to win. Trusting the unknown feels like walking into battle without a weapon. Yet here lies the secret: you are the weapon. The sword is your will, the shield is your courage, and the battlefield is not the chaos around you but the resistance within you. The eagle's presence confirms that your spirit is already aligned for something greater, something destined. And while others may gasp, resist, or even freak out at your rise, you must remember that liberation often unsettles those still chained. So take this moment seriously, but not somberly. Aries is, after all, a fire sign, and fire does not apologize for its brilliance. Step into this chapter with humor, with boldness, and with the wisdom of a philosopher who has seen empires rise and fall. Remember, chosen ones are never chosen for comfort, they are chosen for transformation. And as you prepare to walk into the Year of Triumph 2025, do so with the clarity of the eagle, the daring of the warrior, and just enough mischievous laughter to remind the world that victory is not only yours, it is your birthright. When we arrive at this stretch of the Aries reading, we step into territory that feels less like a polite conversation with the stars and more like a boot camp run by the cosmos itself. The themes presented are those of financial strain, health challenges, and the sort of hardships that make you wonder whether the universe is secretly running an obstacle course reality show. But here is the lesson: these trials are not random punishments, they are deliberate cosmic fitness tests. The universe is essentially asking, how strong are your spiritual ABS? And yes, Aries, it expects you to flex them. There is a reason the old saying goes, don't tell God the size of your problems, show your problems the size of your God. In other words, stop magnifying the shadows and start magnifying your light. The next layer of the message takes us into the realm of monsters, not the kind hiding under the bed, but the inner and outer forces that loom large in our lives. These monsters can take the form of fear, debt, illness, or toxic relationships, but they all serve the same strange purpose, to push you back toward yourself. The call here is to invoke the I Am presence, that deep recognition of your eternal self, the part of you that doesn't just survive battles but grows stronger because of them. Think of the samurai, knocked down in the mud, aching from defeat, who suddenly recalls his training and rises again with clarity and ferocity. For Aries, pain is never the end of the story, it's the training ground. Your monster isn't here to devour you, it's here to remind you that you're spicy enough to bite back. Yet no reading for Aries would be complete without touching on the heaviness of inherited struggles. Conflict, scarcity, and emotional burdens often cling like ancestral dust. Many Aries grew up in households where arguments over money were louder than lullabies. These early imprints left behind the belief that scarcity is a permanent truth rather than a temporary condition. But here lies the paradox: you were never meant to carry those inherited fears. Scarcity, after all, is just an illusion, passed down from generation to generation like grandma's chipped china set, fragile, outdated, and far too heavy for your shelf. You don't need to keep it. You were not born to inherit the broken pieces of yesterday's fears, you were born to inherit the skies. So this section of the reading is a reminder that Aries is called to embody the eagle, that eternal symbol of vision and truth. While others may squabble on the ground over crumbs, you were designed to soar above, to cast light into the shadows of your past, and to see beyond the limitations of those who came before you. The hardships you face now are not designed to crush you, they are designed to reveal to you that you are already greater than them. The eagle does not flinch at storms, it uses them to rise higher. Aries, you are asked to do the same. And if the monsters growl loud, if scarcity whispers lies, remember, the sky is yours, not the cage. That is the true inheritance waiting for you. In this part of the Aries reading, the conversation turns toward the deep and often unspoken wounds connected to the sacred feminine and maternal figures. Many Aries souls carry the weight of abandonment, the story of single mothers who had to fight tooth and nail for survival, or the shadow of mothers who were physically present but emotionally unavailable. These narratives shape the inner child, leaving behind a hunger for nurturing that was never fully met. Yet the wisdom here is clear: the time has come for self-mothering. To hold yourself with the tenderness you once craved from others, to sit with your own younger self and whisper, "I've got you now." In Buddhist thought, clinging to the ideal of a perfect mother is like grasping smoke, it only breeds suffering. The true initiation is to release the archetype of perfection and embrace the reality of imperfection. Aries, let's be honest, no one can boss you around better than you can. So why not use that fire to become both the parent and the protector you've always needed? Reconnection with Gaia, the Great Mother, is part of this healing, grounding into the earth, feeling her steady rhythm beneath your feet, and remembering that even if your human mother faltered, you were always held by the greater embrace of life itself. The reading then ventures into darker waters, painful memories of rejection, the tangled webs of narcissistic family dynamics, and the impossible complexity of the mother archetype. Here the energy of the Hanged Man appears, a symbol of sacrifice and surrender. To grow up in an environment shaped by narcissism is to learn resilience the hard way. But here's the twisted gift: if you survived that, congratulations, you earned your PhD in resilience without even filling out an application. What others learned in theory, you lived in practice. The paradox is that while these experiences were never deserved, they became the crucible that shaped your endurance, empathy, and unshakable will. From here, the reading addresses the conditioning of loyalty to ancestral suffering. Many Aries find themselves carrying burdens that are not their own, living with an unspoken obligation to repeat the struggles of their lineage. The desire for maternal approval becomes a chain that holds them back, even long after childhood has passed. But the invitation is liberation. Breaking free from these patterns is like finally unsubscribing from your family's Netflix account. At first, you hesitate, feeling guilty for letting go of the family plan. But eventually, you realize you don't need their password to watch your own story unfold. And the plot twist? Your story is far more interesting when you're the one writing it. Finally, we come to one of the most difficult truths. Many Aries are still waiting for love or validation from a mother figure that may never arrive. The message is firm yet compassionate: stop trying to rewrite the past. It is not about forgiveness, despite what self-help cliches might insist. It is about acceptance. Forgiveness is optional. Sanity, however, is not. Aries, you don't need closure, you need new doors. The moment you stop running in circles, trying to change what cannot be changed, is the moment you step into freedom. And if anyone knows how to break down a door and stride through it with confidence, it's you. There comes a point in every Aries journey when the chains rattle, the doors slam, and the fire sign decides once and for all to walk away from the prison of expectation. For some, this has already happened. You've broken free, stretched your wings, and felt the rush of independence. Yet, as is so often the case, not everyone is applauding your freedom. Certain figures, whether mothers, in-laws, or other family members, simply cannot accept that you are no longer playing by the old script. Instead of celebrating your growth, they may turn to manipulation, emotional blackmail, and that subtle resistance that says, "How dare you choose yourself?" But here is the truth: when you rise, expect resistance. Even Jesus had critics and he turned water into wine. What have they done lately? The counsel that follows is clear and uncompromising: cut ties with anyone pulling you backward. This isn't about cruelty or coldness, it is about survival of the spirit. Some people cling the way glitter clings to your skin. You never asked for it, you didn't want it, and it shows up everywhere you go. Aries, it's time to cleanse. For some of you, this cleansing will not just be emotional or psychological but deeply spiritual. There are hints here of a calling, perhaps as mediums, healers, priestesses, or guides, roles that require you to keep your energy field free of toxic interference. If manipulation, narcissism, or darker energies circle around you, this is the moment to consider energetic divorces, banishment rituals, or any practice that firmly declares, "This is my space, and you are no longer welcome." From here, the reading gathers force, bringing us to its inevitable climax. The message is simple but thunderous: your destiny is freedom and victory. The wheel of fortune spins in your favor, and the old cycle, with its endless drama and recycling of pain, is over. The show is over, reality begins. And what reality is that? It is the reality of your liberation, your path, your unapologetic rise. You are not stepping into just another year, you are stepping into the year of triumph 2025. This is a timeline reserved for the chosen ones, those brave enough to shed the skin of their past and wear the crown of their present. And if there is any sign audacious enough to carry that torch while laughing in the face of resistance, it is Aries. So let us be clear, your past was the training ground, but your present is the launch pad. Release what is behind you, embrace fully who you are, and never apologize for the roar of your freedom. Some people will indeed freak out when they see you soar, but that is their burden, not yours. Your only responsibility now is to rise higher, love deeper, and live louder than you ever dared before. And as we close, I remind you, life is not meant to be endured, it is meant to be savored. Aries, enjoy the wild beauty of your own fire. Let it warm you, guide you, and inspire those ready to rise beside you. If this message has spoken to your soul, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot. Our community grows stronger with every voice that joins, and together, we step into a destiny that is brighter than anything the past could ever hold.